All right, guys, it's range day for the Surron Ultra Bee. I'm going to run this through 3 different tests. If you haven't seen this stuff before, I'm running it from 100% charge down to 10%. And on this bike, I'm going to run it in 3 different scenarios. We're going to do single track, we're going to do a motocross track, and we are going to do an eco ride at slower speeds on a dirt road to see basically maximum range. So yeah, not much else to say. Let's go test this thing. Just a reminder, if you didn't see the first ride video, the battery on the Ultra Bee is a removable 74 volt, 55 amp hour battery, totaling a capacity of just over 4 kilowatt hours. The bike is putting out 12.5 kilowatts of peak power in sport mode, which is what we'll run in the off-road segments of this test. And for yours truly here, I'm weighing roughly 165 pounds with my gear on. If you're interested in purchasing an Ultra Bee, check the link in the description or go to electriccyclerider.com/marketplace to find the best dealers that sell this bike. All right, back to the test. I'm not using the bike's odometer because there's a significant amount of time in the air with the wheels spinning, so I'm using GPS to track my ride with my Polar Vantage watch. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, can never clear that one. To start off, we're going to hit the same motocross track that we did in the first ride video. The track is about 1 mile long, and it's hard-packed terrain with some loose sand on top and a fair amount of high-speed sections. I'd like to take a quick moment to state the disclaimer that riding style, rider skill level, rider weight, terrain, and the bike's power modes all play important factors in battery range. So another teaser for you guys that regularly watch the videos. Whoa, I gotta concentrate in that corner. It takes every little bit to get stopped before that berm there. But there's something that's not battery related that I'm also testing right now. If you saw the first ride video, I was struggling with the front end, kind of feeling nervous and knifing. So I tried some settings. Basically, what I did was take all of the preload out of the shock, which is unfortunate, but kind of had to be done to basically lower that rear end as much as possible and increase sag. And it feels like it helped. So I've got the rear shock collar as high as it can go, which is essentially meaning we got no preload, but it has helped that front end feel more stable. The stuff's still really loose, but I'm able to hit these corners way more confidently now that that front end isn't as nervous, which is awesome. We'll come back to the MX track to reveal the final range numbers here, but let's move over to some single track testing. Yeah, this bike's fun. This soil is really similar to the motocross track, but this track has a lot of whoops and sharper, tighter turns, but there is virtually no elevation change. At the halfway part of this test, when my battery display read 55%, I had traveled 13.1 miles. After running the battery down from 100% to 10% in sport mode on this single track course, I had gone 26.2 miles. Let's move over to the slower speed dirt road test. In this test, I rode the bike in eco mode, attempting to stay at a constant 30 miles per hour, but realistically fluctuating between 30 to 35 miles per hour. This terrain is super boring to watch, so we'll get through it quick. When the battery percentage read 10%, I had gone a total of 46.3 miles. Back at the motocross track, in sport mode, this scenario is the most strain that I'll be putting on the battery in this video. The track has a fair amount of faster sections and jump faces that I'm holding the throttle wide open. It was lap 19 when I felt the sudden change on the Ultra Bee.
Alright, I just immediately felt power loss just then. And honestly, the power loss until what just happened was not bad. But I'm going to point out, I'm at 12% battery capacity right now. And I noticed that on one of my other rides is that I'm riding at 15% battery, and this thing is actually still ripping pretty good. It's not at full power by any means, but it's still kind of holding its own at 15%, which is pretty surprising compared to a lot of other bikes that I've ridden. It seems to diminish substantially when you get to 50%, and not to say that this doesn't diminish some, but it does not diminish nearly as much as other bikes that I've ridden. So it's still actually pretty suitable all the way down to 15%. So anyways, I'm gonna finish this lap out. I've got not enough power to jump anything, so I'm just gonna roll everything. All right guys, just finishing up the full test on the motocross track. Definitely hard on acceleration and some wide open sections where I'm just holding it completely wide open. Granted, this is my skill level and my weight and all that. And so I was able to go from 100% down to 12%. And I'm going to say 12% because that is where the power noticeably cut out. And so I think that is like the crucial moment. I usually run it down to 10%, but because the battery noticeably crashed at 12%, that's where I took note. And I had gone just over 19 miles at that point. So that was 19 laps around this motocross track because it's a 1 mile track, and I tracked it on GPS as well. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's pretty much what I would expect. If you're expecting better numbers than that, I think that, it's just a reminder, like, it's different power to weight ratio, but all of these bikes are within the same realm. Like, all of these manufacturers are trying to put out the appropriate amount of power and the appropriate amount of capacity to make the bike still handle well. And so, like, all of these bikes are really kind of in the same category, but I'm pretty happy with 19 miles on a motocross track on this thing. If you had 2 batteries, you'd be golden. You could charge the other one, and that's plenty of ride time. But I'm very impressed with how much power this bike retained until it got down to 12%. It's honestly one of the best that I've seen. Granted, I wasn't able to test that on the Stark Varg, so I can't really put that into the equation. But this is definitely doing a really good job. So 19 miles on a motocross track.
There it is, everyone. Just to recap, in these 3 scenarios, running from 100% to 10%, the Ultra Bee went a total of 26.2 miles in sport mode on single track, 46.3 miles in eco mode on a flat dirt road, and 19.1 miles in sport mode on a motocross track. Is this what you expected? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.